Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, Jar of Marble dwellers and Jar of Marble curious. My name is Linda and I'm Bobby. You are Bob. It's so good that you've joined us today. Today we'd like to talk a little bit about I don't have to. I don't have to. Been there, done that. One thing that I've come to peace about is I don't have to. How many of us feel that way, realise that already, or are going through it now? I like to set the direction of where I'm going with I don't have to. I don't have to be the bigger person. Oh, let's just breathe that one out and bloody nice and deeply for a moment. In the situation where we've had our backs firmly against the wall and the smartest choice as far as creating movement in a toxic situation, and for context, say leaving a previous marriage with children, so back against the wall, and to save face for the kids, we were to be the newly elected bigger person. Oh, that sounds great. Oh, it was fantastic. And at the time, it was the hardest and most correct thing to do for those daughters of mine at the time. Decades later, I do not have to be the bigger person, nor am I vying for the crown. Once you've been truly, most definitely disrespected by plebs, they can think they have something over you. Whatever. It was always going to have to be one of us, and that was me, who was thinking about the kids and their feelings and their well-being. And when they grew up, they were able to understand the whole picture better and completely, both saying that they could never have done what I did. Never say never. Well, it's like most things. We sometimes have to suck up our pride, perhaps hide our embarrassment, our awkwardness and fears, and I accepted it for what it was, knowing that one day everyone would have to look at their behaviour. Or maybe not, you say that, you think that, but, the most important thing is you look at your own. It wasn't ever about holding on to grudges. You can't change what's happening or what has happened, and by looking out for the kids, it totally freed my mind. I was literally busy raising my 3 kids single-handedly and happy to do so. I was actually both relieved and glad about that. My choices were slim and I did not want to victimise myself. We are all in different situations and eras. How much support we have, who's got your back and all that will be a part of course, your decision making. I don't have to fix anything. It is not my responsibility to sort out problems that are not mine and have been placed on my lap to sort. If the others aren't going to do their part, you can only stand in your own honour, and I saw it exactly like that, being honourable. So however my choices were judged, I knew I could live with mine. Not available for anything twisted or unkind. I don't have to fix anything I didn't break, so to speak. I don't have to support those who don't support me. What a wild one that is. Folk that expect you to support them in their endeavours, but do not support yours. Pay no attention, have zero interest in you or anything you do, but you better be following all they do and be in there. Nope. I think some people have been praised for being, let's face it, truly average. Their heads get too big for their hats and actually think that they're something else. And hey, all the power to them, I say, but if it's a one-lane street, my focus will not be on them or for them. Wisdom doesn't come easy or without cost. That's right. Wisdom will cost you dearly. There are a few shortcuts, if any, to wisdom. The earning of it cuts deep and will most likely the deepest wounds and pain you'll ever experience. Listening, truly listening, is the wake up. I do not have to make everyone happy in my life. That monster is not yours to fight. Have you noticed how many people can just get so involved in their problems like it's a full-time profession, and you as a friend, say, have listened, supported and been there, and then when you have a decent problem, they struggle to text you, an obligatory, occasional, heartless, effortless text. Tick, there you go. They've done their very least for you and you are off their list for another month. That grinds my gears until it doesn't, and when it doesn't, I'm gone. I'm done, and you'll have to find someone else to bore. I don't know about you, but if I know a friend is struggling, especially, if I'm not in the same city or country, I'm going to pick the phone up. Of course I will. Imagine that, picking up the phone to offer comfort. Quite the concept. Letting go of unnecessary burdens has been liberating. It's not even that they were all intentional. Life can wear you down unknowingly. God, we all know that. And you have midstream epiphanies and realise you can make a choice with ease. Adding to that, I also understand that I don't owe my energy to people and situations who don't reciprocate. That feels very peaceful. This all led to my prioritising my own well-being and has been a powerful lesson this year. On my Rock Chicks Facebook page, all the memes I create there are all about doing the best thing for you from a perspective of well-being and strength. We're strong as women, and I don't like to hide my strength. This is one of my strengths now. I'm not someone to muck around. I'll not play. And why? Well, more than I don't want to. It's just so I don't have to. So yes, most definitely, prioritising my well-being is a 2024 thing. I'm also going through a very serious family situation that I may talk about one day, but for now, let's say, it has made the notion of my well-being and my family a numero uno, number one, top tier priority. I have had sad times when I felt inexplicably sad and deeply alone, unable to articulate my feelings, and we've all had those times. And at such times I've expressed that I've never felt so utterly alone, and reaching out felt like an impossible task, only to be ignored or a hope things are going to be okay. And then I just get this little text. And these add to your turning points, don't they? Sometimes it's just a wake-up call to the validity of certain friendships. Like you're there for them, but they cannot be there for you. And then you realise maybe you've agreed to this for a really, really long time, so they're not even looking at it either because you've just always been there for them. They've never really been there for you in a way that's meaningful, actually helpful, and especially when it's reduced to, little texts that have taken 3 seconds, and there you are, really, really in trouble, really, really needing some support, and it just can't be offered. So all that and amongst the journey you're already on can be a mix and a half, can't it? And then you come out the end of that a different person, not available anymore, not up for the small talk, not up for whatever it is they want from you. And so you bow out, not because it was a plan, it was a have to, because they effectively wrote themselves out of your life. It is a gut-wrenching regret you feel when you realise your instincts were right all along and you didn't listen. And you're heading in a new direction, and all that dead weight is being taken from you. And the freer and the lighter you become, you understand that they had to go. They were in effect long overdue to be written out of your life. And when you grow, truly grow, yes, we can be at different stages, but if disrespect and unkindness is their theme, see you later, buddy. And remember, it's okay to not have all the answers, and okay to seek support when words fail you. Compassion for yourself is crucial, and this was a new one for me. To consciously accept compassion from myself, for myself, without thinking as I used to. Okay, stop feeling sorry for yourself. That's what I used to say to myself. Stop feeling sorry for yourself. Yeah, no, we don't have to do that anymore.
Oh, that's a bit sad.
Well, you just do what you know, don't you, until you learn differently. You're not alone in feeling this way. Now, I think, what can I do for myself that'll make me feel good in a self-care way? Could be a foot massage, back and shoulders massage, maybe go to a concert, the ballet, a facial, a bike ride, dancing in your garden. Whatever it is that lifts your self-care game is very, very cool. I get quite excited about what I might do for myself. When you're going through hell, you might not even be totally present for your self-care, but there is the benefit of the effort that you make for yourself and whatever it is that you provide for yourself. I've said this before.
And you'll say it again?
Yeah. Some of you are unaware of just how amazing you really are, the way you spread some extra love, the way you make people laugh, and you do this even when you're struggling, and this just makes you a fucking beautiful human being.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right.
That's right.
I love simple and practical. It's okay to want your own happiness and do what is healthy for you. And when someone hits you with their nonsense, it's okay for you to hit back and ask them, what the hell do they expect? You have the right to say, let me feed that right back to you. So how does it taste? We will all meet all sorts of people in our lives. We just got to learn not to waste our time on people who never take you seriously, respectfully, kindly. Choose one.
Choose them all.
Yeah. Avoid those who want to use you for their selfish reasons. Everything that comes to you, whatever it is that is coming to you, is perfect for you. It's so important to trust how reality works. It wouldn't be there if it wasn't for you to utilise or look at. The challenge can be that we may not listen to our intuition that's saying, no, don't go, back off, this is bullshit. Whatever the sense is, how many times later do we go, I bloody knew it and I took no notice? Hashtag, I don't have to. In our mod squad world, modernity and all that, we still don't have to wait for change. If you're not happy with the way things are, you can do something, no matter how small, to transform your life. You don't have to wait till, fill in the gap here, to start making changes. There's that mod squad saying, be the change. Well, be the bloody change. Little changes. Get up a little bit earlier or later, depending on your circumstances. Start reading books again if you've stopped or if you've never really bothered. Doing things that you don't ordinarily do can bring so much satisfaction.
I'm not saying I'm attractive, but when I take my clothes off in the bathroom, I turn the shower on.
Thanks, Bob. Hashtag, I don't have to. You don't have to accept anything you're not comfortable with in your relationships. The people in your life might not ever change, but you can change how you engage with them. That can feel like you've hit a brick wall until you realise that it may be exactly as I just said. You can change how you experience the relationship. For example, once upon a time, if I'd had some news of some kind that I felt that I needed to talk to somebody about immediately, I would have got on the blower to talk to. But over time, when I've seen that things have changed, I just don't call anymore. I was engaging differently and I was growing as a person, and I knew I didn't have to be who I was anymore. She did not exist anymore. Well, not in this narrative. We're all different, and if we're growing, we can outgrow people. They can outgrow us. It's that circle of life thing. One day you wake up and you're done. No one needs to understand it or approve it. You're just done.
It's illegal to laugh out loud in Hawaii. You have to keep it to a low ha.
You don't have to hide your pain to make other people feel comfortable. Not everyone will be able to hold space for you, but some will. You just have to open up to find them. Even if you have one person that you can relax with, be yourself with, then you're winning.
Winning, I say.
Hashtag, I don't have to. You don't have to be ashamed of your past. You did the best you could given what you've been through and what you knew at the time, and it helped you become the person you are today. Maybe you've felt bad about an aspect, but isn't it fantastic when you can see how you only did what you had to, what you knew, what you had to work with? Not everyone will ever be that honest. Being honest and transparent helps others to be too, or at the least not beat themselves up for decisions made that just can't be changed now. You don't have to worry about what's coming in the future. You will anyways because you're human, but when you catch yourself, remind yourself that whatever it is, you're strong enough to handle it, and it is in the catching of yourself
that saves the day.
For sure, Bob. It can save stressing and remembering to embrace and enjoy your life. It sounds simple, but it's powerful if you actually heed it.
That's a bit of an old-fashioned word, isn't it? Heed it.
Heed it. Yeah, I guess it is.
Slightly poetic, I would say.
Well, Bob, the history of the word heed would make your eyeballs bleed. But I will say this, the word heed traces its origins back to Old English. The first records of the word heed actually comes from the year 900.
Yep. So glad I asked.
Oh, shut up, Bob. Yeah, so it is very liberating to not do what you don't want to after many years of cooperating, believing, of course, that you're doing the right thing, only to retreat and not be available anymore. Lovely, lovely. Hashtag, I don't have to. I've been told that I'm too old to have long hair. Again, that falls into the too hard basket.
Too hard?
Yeah, we don't care for the unsolicited opinions of others, Bob. How many, I wonder, have lopped off their locks because the opinion of family members have decided that your hair must go?
Yeah, I know those kind.
Yeah, me too. And I know some of these people, and while some have resigned to having shorter hair is easier to keep, I'll argue that fact because I've had short hair before, and I would wake every morning with fantastic clumps of hair going in all sorts of angles, and it took time and product to get it looking like how I wanted it, and even then it was still a bit of a mission. So not easier, no. In the end, it's choice, isn't it? So I would say, though, if nothing else, it did provide lots of entertainment in our house.
Yeah, I remember your hairstyle competitions.
That's right, where you got out of bed and we'd all congregate in front of a mirror and kill ourselves laughing at our fresh morning hairstyles and then decide who looked the weirdest. And when my hair was short, I was winning every day. I looked like a bloody lunatic. And when I thought on the subject, I don't have to, it is already a bit of a running joke in our house. My husband would ask, would you like a cup of tea? And if I'm in one of my oddball kind of moods, I'd go, well, you can't make me, to which he would say, what? Or yeah, whatever. Or I'd say, well, I don't have to. Then we'd laugh simply because it was just a daft response. I was being silly and it keeps him on his toes anyway, doesn't it? It does, of course it does. Then I get my tea. I love that it makes my husband laugh.
3 weeks ago, I sent my hearing aid in for repair. I've heard nothing since.
Come on, I lost my tongue and you don't hear me complaining.
So what do you think of pole dancing? Would you like to learn?
Well, Bob, at this stage of my life, the only pole dancing I'll do is holding on to the safety bar in the bathroom. Another example of I don't have to is my husband enjoys watching football and I'm not a football fan. Sports fan at all, never have been. So I'm not expected to sit in amongst a bunch of people playing footy, for example, on TV or otherwise.
But why?
Well, I don't have to, Bob. Look, if you want me to die of boredom, get me to do that. It's not my bag and I don't need to do something that I don't want to do. I can totally respect why people enjoy sport. I think it's a fantastic thing if that's what you're into, just as I don't expect him or anybody for that matter to get involved in anything I'm into when clearly it isn't their bag. If someone wants to get offended, be my guest. This whole obligation thing puts me to sleep. That's simply others being manipulative. Yeah, no thanks. A gift that we give ourselves as older, bolder women, be you younger than myself or women in my vintage and older, depending on how many eras you've lived through, finding the ability, the space, the courage to not feel obliged anymore is huge. We have lived through so much change. In the 60s, women were still staying at home and the partner was bringing in the dough. The woman was single-handedly raising the children. Dad came home and the kids were seen and not heard. Oh, what bollocks! Well, yeah, Bob, but the thing is, the point is, back in the 60s, on the back of the 1950s, that was far more normal and acceptable. So back in the 60s, we had a family female friend of ours was a manager of a large furnishing stores, and that back then was most unusual. In fact, received those judgmental glares over one's glasses. One simply did not do that. Goodness, no. Then there's the 70s, again another era. There were changes and shake-ups going on through to the 80s and the 90s, etc. You get me? Yeah. So because it's just once you've got to my age and we're not, in 2024, we're way and long past it. Yeah, so because you're old and you're like really old, you will have seen loads of change. Quite right. Not as much change as I would have liked to see, but that's why there are so many of us banging out statements like, in this case, I don't have to. Self-care is not selfish. It is bare minimum. Yeah, that's right. Absolutely. And that wraps up today's episode. It's been such a pleasure sharing these thoughts with you all. Thanks, Bob, for your input. I never know what you're going to come out with.
Same goes, Big Nose. Never know what you're going to say either.
So as we wrap up, I want to leave you with this empowering reminder. As we grow older, we don't have to stick to the paths that don't serve us anymore. We've earned the right to say no, to pivot, and to prioritise our happiness and well-being.
It's our time.
So if you're feeling trapped by obligations or expectations that no longer resonate, remember, you have the power to redefine your journey.
I do like me a redefine.
Me too, Bob. Let's embrace this stage of life with the wisdom and freedom it brings and make choices that truly reflect who we are and who we want to be. So thanks for tuning in today. If you've enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe, share it with friends who might need a little encouragement. One thing I totally came to peace with this year, 2024, is that I don't have to. I don't have to go out of my way. I don't have to fix anything I didn't break. I don't have to support those who don't support me. I don't have to try to make everyone happy. Letting go of unnecessary burdens has been liberating. Understanding that I don't owe my energy to situations or help people who don't reciprocate has brought me peace. Prioritising my well-being has been the most empowering lesson. It's a credit to your character that you're not being anybody's fool. You don't have to do what you don't want to do anymore. And that is it. We're off and away. Say good day to the family for me. Give the mouse a squeak. And we'll see you next time, okay? Okay then. Bye.
Bye.